So now it's like, we got to get Trump out of office. We need black people. Y'all got to save America. Save America. We've been saving everybody but ourselves. And that's why our communities have fallen apart, right? So we're always ready to save America because we're always trying to fit in. We're like Charlie Brown trying to get some fucking friends. And so every time they hold the ball, we run up, we kick it as hard as we can, and then we flop, boom, crack our head. So I'm just going to say this. I'm not judging anybody who chooses to vote. What I'm saying is that you can't get me with the banana in the tailpipe again. You cannot convince me to do the same thing that I did last time that has always gotten the same result every time I did it. I mean, seriously. I mean, when you say black people need to vote, are you telling black people to do something that we've never done before? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of you have, would agree with me that black people vote quite consistently? I mean, we really will show up. If America needs us, we will show up. I don't know if it makes us wonderful or stupid, but we will literally show up and fight in a war for people who hate our guts. Like, seriously, people who might shoot you in the back of the head. And people thought Ali was crazy because he was the one who said, Viet Cong ain't never called me nigga. You fight your war. That's your problem. The Viet Cong is your fucking problem. It's not my problem. I got other problems, right? So they called him crazy for saying that, right? So my feeling, honestly, is, do I love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump? I don't really care. But I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump ain't never called me nigga. I said it. And no, don't get me wrong. He might, maybe under his breath, maybe when he's off with his kids, maybe he doesn't like black people. I don't think he likes black people very much at all. I don't think he likes anybody. That's fine. But Donald Trump doesn't have an impact on my life. Donald Trump is pissing you off because you're offended by his brash communication style. He pisses you off because you're offended that he don't want motherfuckers coming across the border like it's a revolving door. He's pissing you off because he doesn't go along with your LGBT agenda the way you want him to, right? He pisses you off because you're a feminist and you don't like the fact that he likes all these women or whatever the hell he's been doing with his life, right? I can't think of anything about Trump that really scares me. But then again, maybe it's because I don't scare easily. It takes a lot to scare me. I just don't, because I'm a black man. I've been prepared my whole life for death, right? I mean, at the end of the day, what's really funny is, in a way, Trump kind of is controlling the whole narrative. It's like your ghetto cousin, it gets real ghetto with you, and at first you like, I'm not going to dignify that with a response. I'm not going to respond to that because we don't speak like that here. Next thing you know, you like, you motherfucker, no, let me know, what, come on, what, right? And you just, like, they pull you in. Every time you try to get out, they pull you back in. So right now, Trump is pulling them in. Maybe that's a good strategy. I don't know. I mean, the thing about bullies, and Trump is a bully. I've never been a bully. I've never liked bullies. But I fought bullies as a kid, and my dad taught me how to deal with bullies, and I don't have a fear of bullies. But I see the emotional pain inflicted by bullies, which is why I don't like bullies. I fight bullies, right? And the thing about a bully is you have to stand up to the bully at some point, right? And Trump has been bullying the Washington establishment for a long time. He's coming in here. He thinks he's the king of the world. He talks a lot of crazy shit. He's basically like an old white man version of a ghetto ass rapper, right? He's literally the most ghetto rapper you can think of. And he's like I don't know, Jim Jones or something, but he's like an old white man. And he's like in the White House and he's just acting a damn fool. You have to respond to that, right? And I totally get it why they responded to that. Now, the thing about dealing with a bully, though, is that you have to deal with a bully in a certain way. You have to, you can defend people from the bully. You can challenge the bully and counterattack the bully, but you cannot engage in the exact same behavior as the bully. Like, so when your cousin is being ghetto, you can deal with the ghetto ass cousin. You can stand up to the ghetto ass cousin, but you don't want to become the ghetto ass cousin. I feel like Joe Biden, when he's like, shut up, man, you're the worst president in American history. I felt like Joe Biden became Donald Trump that night, and it made a lot of people lose respect for the presidency altogether. I feel like millions of Americans, I really, if you want to know who I think is going to win the election, it's like watching a football game or something. Like, do I think the Cowboys are going to win or the Steelers? Even though neither one of them are going to give me a check if they win the game, I'm going to predict the Democrats. I believe the Democrats are going to pull it off, but I really think we lost something in the presidency. I think that we've lost in a couple of ways. One, we lose because Donald Trump did debase the meaning and the relevance of being president of the United States. There used to be a time where really smart people wanted to go work at the White House. Like, they would go get a job in Washington and brag to their mama, after they finish at Harvard, they'd be like, Mom, I'm working for the president. I think Trump took a lot of that away, to be honest with you. But I also think that by responding to Republican lies with Democrat lies, and responding to their propaganda with even worse propaganda, the Democrats also debased the value of the White House. I think that their behavior has just been appalling. I believe that they overblew the whole pandemic thing. I really do. Maybe if Trump is guilty of underplaying it, they're definitely guilty of overplaying it, right? Because really, again, if you look at the numbers, you have a 99.99% chance of survival. 99.99% chance of survival. 99.99% chance of survival. That is not guaranteed certain death. That is not certain fucking death. That's 99.99% chance of survival. So stop overreacting and acting like we're all gonna die. Because the only reason, if the Democrats lose this election, it will be their fault. It will be their fault for two reasons. One, you traumatized the shit out of your base. Your people are scared. I got a relative who's in her 70s who has not left the house since March. And it sucks because she hasn't seen her grandkids, and she's scared to go to the damn polls now because you done got her scared as hell to even walk out of the house and go to the grocery store. Another reason they lose, it's going to be your own fault because you have a black man called Barack Obama in the White House for 8 straight years. He was president for 8 straight years. And in part of that presidency, he controlled every single branch of government. The Senate, the House, and the executive branch. The Democrats control every branch of government. And that if you had any opportunity for you to do anything for black people, you should have did it then. You could have did it then. Because you can't tell me that when you have the best opportunity to move forward and you do nothing, that somehow I'm going to believe that now you're going to do something when there's more opposition to your agenda. I just don't believe that. It's stupid. You have to be retarded to believe that dumb shit. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So if they lose, it's gonna be Barack Obama's fault because these black people that are not voting, and I'm not telling you not to vote. I want to make that clear. I know a lot of people are accusing me of saying, oh, you're telling black people not to vote. I'm like, who the fuck are you and why the hell do you keep making shit up? Stop with your propaganda. Your propaganda has no power here. I have never told black people not to vote because black people that I talk to are smart enough to make their own damn decision. And because of that, all right, next thing I want to mention real quick is I want to talk about this whole debate during this whole conversation during the debate about white supremacy. Now, here's the thing. I am a little bit different when it comes to my view of white supremacy. And the reason I'm a little bit different in my view of white supremacy is because white people don't scare me. They just don't. Not today's white people. Now, if you go back 200 years, when you had white people where everybody had a gun and they all felt like they could just kill black people for no reason, those white people made me a little more nervous, right? But white people today don't really scare me. They just don't. Like Proud Boys, I don't give a fuck. Seriously. Now, let me tell you why. I'm not saying I don't care. I'm not saying it's not that you don't have a point. I'm not saying that you should become, that you should go join, join one of these groups. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that in my day-to-day life, it just doesn't make a difference. Sure, there are incidents, right? Maybe there was Trayvon Martin. I saw you mention that. There was, I don't know if it was a Proud Boys thing, but it was maybe a racism thing, right? And then you have the police shootings. Maybe you have 2 or 3 of those, that get major media attention per year. But here's the point I want to make, and I hope you'll bear with me on this. This is what I want you to kind of understand here. The first reason white supremacy doesn't bother me is because I believe in black power. And because I truly believe that black power is the greatest power, because I believe that the black man is the original man, the black woman is the original woman, black people are the original people, and that we can't be stopped. I don't really get distracted by those who are offended by black power. I just don't. It just doesn't throw me off. It's like if the Lakers are about to play the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat believe in heat supremacy. The Miami Heat believe that they are better than the Lakers, right? They're going to walk in that court with all the swag and confidence in the world, believing that that championship belongs to them. Now, are the Lakers going to be offended by that? No. The Lakers are not going to be offended by Heat supremacy because they believe in Laker supremacy. The Lakers don't care if you think you're going to win because we're going to show you that we're going to win. LeBron and Anthony Davis probably have something to say about that, right? So really, if you truly believe in black power, like if you're truly an empowered black person, if you truly believe in your strength, you won't necessarily be overly rattled. You'll be aware that you have an adversary, but you're not going to be overly rattled because there are some white people who think that they're better than you. That's not going to affect you because you're focused on winning the game. And that's really all it is, right? So because I'm smarter than 99.9% of all the white people I've ever met, I'm not offended when a white person thinks they're smarter than me. Because I'm richer than 99.9% of all the white people I've ever met, I don't care if a white man thinks that I don't belong in that store with him. It doesn't bother me. It's like, maybe you don't belong. I know I belong. Come on, kids. Let's go get some ice cream. Seriously, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not offended. I don't have an inferiority complex. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, what? Well, you call me a nigga? Why you calling me a nigga? You know, like, I'm not going to give you that energy. But then again, I'm not a normal person, right? Because I've thought about these things for a long time. I used to be different. The other thing, too, is that because of what I do, you know, I'm not a big, like, celebrity type person. I'm not really that famous, but I can go places all around the world where people will recognize me on the street. And you can't really sit and obsess yourself with what every motherfucker has to say. You just can't. Some of y'all in the chat saying dumbass shit right now. I just have for you. I can't listen to you and get mad at you and focus on what I'm trying to do at the same time. A lot of times responding and reacting to every time somebody doesn't like you takes you off of your mission and takes you off of your purpose and keeps you from accomplishing anything. So anybody who wants to hear what I have to say, anybody who gives a shit about what I have to say, I just want to tell you, you know, I know you got haters. I know that girl over there is mad at you because she think you took her man. I know so-and-so is spreading rumors about you. I know that dude over is jealous because you're making money and he's not. But you really have to focus. You have to fucking focus. So that's my first thought on white supremacy. I had to address that. Second piece on this is this. Look. Okay. Now, I don't disagree with, I have to be really delicate on this because I don't want anybody to get offended by the fact that I see things different from them. I just want you to consider what I'm saying here. There's a lot of talk about, you know, these groups, you know, the Proud Boys or whatever. I keep hearing the Proud Boys, so I'm thinking about them. I don't know anything much about them. I've read a little bit, whatever. But here's what I want to sort of think about this. Okay, I study warfare a lot. I watch all kinds of documentaries about World War II and you know, wars all throughout the world, and warfare teaches me a lot. And one of the things about war is this. The other day I was watching a documentary on World War II. It's the same one. I've watched it several times because I really want to understand why certain sides won, what their strategy was, what went down. Like, I watched this, I could watch it 10,000 times because it's so gripping, right? The courage of soldiers, first of all. God bless you if you're a soldier. I want to reiterate this. I will never disrespect soldiers on this platform because I respect anybody that will put their life on the line for anything or anybody. I just want to say that. So shout out to the veterans. But they were talking about Nazi Germany and their unfortunate, unhealthy, horrific relationship with the Jewish community. And they talked about how the Nazis sat around and calculated systemic ways, scientific ways, to exterminate as many people from that community as they possibly could, right? They were pretty fucking sinister about it, right? They literally said, they said, okay, how do we buy better equipment so we can engage in mass extermination of this group of people? Okay, we killed 5,000 today. That's not enough. we need to kill at least 10,000 a day for this plan to work, right? Like literally, they were like, how do we engage? Almost the way you manufacture, Ford trucks, and they'll say we mass produce 1 million Ford trucks this year. That's way under quota. How do we fix our machinery so we can mass produce 1.5 million? They did that when it came to what they did to the poor people in Germany at that time, who fell out of favor with Hitler. It was absolutely fucking atrocious. I mean, bodies on top of bodies, thousands and thousands of people being packed into these cars, taken to these horrible concentration camps, and they were exterminating them en masse, right? In a significant way. That was terrible to watch. Now, here's the thing. When I think about white supremacy in America, and not to say that it couldn't get worse, I think it absolutely can. When you tell me we're in danger, like the white supremacists are going to come get us, they're going to come get us. When I visualize, attacks on black people or genocide against black people, whatever the case may be, that's not the first thing that comes to mind, right? Like the KKK, I don't really know. I don't know, like, let me ask you this. How many tens of thousands of black people did the KKK murder last month? How many did they kill? 50,000? Was it 100,000? Did they do like a mass? Did they go blow up an entire black neighborhood? Right? Seriously. How many tens of thousands of people did the Proud Boys kill yesterday? Right? Like, what is their mass extermination plan? Now, I'm not saying they don't have a plan. I'm not saying things can't happen, but I want to deal with what's real. I want to deal with what's actually there, not what could happen, right? Because they do that with Corona. Well, it ain't bad yet, but it could be bad. Well, there are things that actually are bad now. You understand? So when I'm thinking about, and again, I'm not a normal person. I'm a weirdo. I'm an absolute weirdo. I'm also a mathematician. And one of the things about being a mathematician is that you don't want to pontificate about a problem or bitch about a problem or get mad about a problem. You want to solve the damn problem. You want to figure out, well, what's the solution? How does this work? What's really going? What are the dynamics of this whole situation? So when I think about solving the problem for black people, when I think about solving the problem of black wealth, when I think about solving the problem of the black family, when I think about solving the problem of the black community, the long list that we have in education, family, and economics, and incarceration in particular, I'm thinking about areas where there's been a mass effect. I'm looking for mass extermination. I'm looking for mass incarceration. I'm looking for mass implications. I'm looking for massive systematic efforts that have created incredible problems for millions of black people. I don't see the Proud Boys in that category or the KKK in that category. I think that we're pretty clear that the KKK gets no traction here. The KKK can't roll up in a black neighborhood and say, we want to kidnap 10,000 black girls tomorrow and get away with that. They can't do that, right? But you know who could kidnap 10,000 black girls, who could actually steal the minds of the oppressed on a mass scale, who could kidnap 10,000 of your daughters tomorrow? It's motherfucking Cardi B and Apple Music. That's who can kidnap 10,000 of your daughters tomorrow, 100,000, 1.5 million. They're the ones who have the ability to engage in mass systematic extermination of black potential and create black death and chaos everywhere. This is not anti-Cardi B. Every time I do, stupid people get mad when I bring this up because, number one, they want to go along with whatever's trendy, and then that's how they get you. And then number two, they want to just flip it into these stupid language. You're anti-woman. No, I'm very pro-woman. I'm married to a black woman, so fuck you. At the end of the day, you can't tell me on any level that what they're mass producing in hip-hop music has led to benefits for the black community. The fact that Apple Music and Spotify can run around here talking about Black Lives Matter and put a Black Lives Matter banner on the building, but yet every other rapper is nigga, 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 nigga. Yeah, telling black girls to go out and sell some pussy in order to make $1. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you really think that this isn't gonna have a mass effect on millions and millions of kids when our children are growing up dressing like the rappers, talking like the rappers, some of them living like the rappers? Are you serious right now? Are you serious? Again, you must know the difference between symbolism and mass effects. Nazi Germany did not go take out the Jews with symbolism. They took the Jews out mostly with mass systematic extermination. So if you want to talk about what I think about when I think about white supremacy or the negative effects of a white supremacist system. I'm thinking about things that affect millions of people. The Proud Boys, I don't know how many black people they killed last year, but I doubt it was like 20 million black folks died at the hands of the Proud Boys. I'm not defending the Proud Boys on any level. I don't care about the Proud Boys. I don't even know anything about the Proud Boys. What I'm saying to you is that part of the reason, I'm speaking as a mathematician here, part of the reason you're not solving the problem is because you're hitting the wrong targets. When you focus on police shootings, for example, you're focusing primarily on a couple of highly celebrated incidents that are mass marketed in media where you symbolize one person in one situation and one story, and you spend so much energy trying to get justice for one person that you miss getting justice for the other 100,000 people that were affected en masse, that were mass implicated, mass impacted, mass exterminated by the criminal justice system. When you focus on one or two little issues about whether you think that what Trump said made you feel good or hurt your feelings or not, you're missing the mass genocide of black boys and girls being pursued on a daily basis by an educational system where the majority of black children never learn how to read. I'm talking about the one-off symbolism versus the mass effect, the mass extermination. Mass, that's the word. Mass, what force is mass times acceleration. If you don't have mass, then you cannot have force. If you don't have mass, you cannot have force. A beetle cannot bust through a brick wall. But 10,000 elephants running full speed can bust through damn near anything. So I don't look for the beetle, I look for the elephants. What are the elephants in the room that are creating the mass effects that are causing black people to struggle right now? Let's go back to the 4 core areas that I mentioned before in terms of where black people are being hit the hardest. Number 1, we got the racial wealth gap. Number 2, we have educational problems where all these cities, many of them run by Democrats, black children have never learned how to read. Number 3, violence in unsafe communities. Number 4, incarceration. Number 5 would be, say, the family. So let's start with those 5 things and let's talk about mass effects and then mass solutions. When the coronavirus came along, it didn't infect 10 people. The coronavirus infected millions of people. So when they go and solve the problem of the coronavirus, they're gonna have to make an antidote that is manufactured for billions and billions of people. They can't make three doses of the antidote and think that's gonna be the same as actually solving the goddamn problem. They can celebrate it, they can market it and be like, look, here's a little girl named Cindy. She had coronavirus and we gave her the antidote and now she's better off. So that means everybody's better off. No, that means Cindy's fucking better off. I know the difference. You use mass media to take something small and to pretend like it's something big. And that's what media does. The word is mass. Force, remember the law of physics, basic law of physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. It's going to take a lot of force to move a whole nation. It's going to take a lot of force to move a whole community. It's going to take a lot of force to shift our entire reality. So in order to have force, we must find the mass and accelerate around the area that has the mass. If you pick an area that has no mass and you accelerate, then you're going to just frustrate yourself. You're going to turn around 50 years from now and realize that you got the same problems in 2070 that you had in 2020 because you focus on all the wrong shit. So let's look at wealth. Well, the black wealth problem is pretty easy. I'm an expert on wealth, and my PhD's in finance, so I've been studying this shit for my entire life. So let me tell you the wealth issue in a nutshell. Some of you have heard me talk about it, so I'm not going to dwell on this. The wealth issue is one in which I know for a fact that based on existing actions and activities, the black professional has not been positioned, and in many cases is choosing not to position himself or herself to be able to help solve the black wealth problem. A lot of you grew up in a false reality that was a white supremacist reality. Because remember, the thing about white supremacy is that the biggest white supremacists in America are black. You believe deeply in the power of white people. That's why you spend so much time talking about them and getting offended by them and worrying about what they think and making sure you either support them or you fight them or fighting on behalf of them. Some of y'all done lost friends because you voted for Biden and your cousin voted for Trump. Trump don't give a fuck about you. Why would you lose a cousin over Donald Trump? That don't even make no damn sense. That makes you stupid. So, so you talk about wealth. If you look at the wealth issue, the reason that the wealth problem has not been solved, despite the fact that there are so many black people that have college degrees, is because you were lied to. You were told, go to school, then go to college, give all your family wealth to a big white university, so that big white university can teach you to go work for another white person. And in the meantime, we will teach you nothing about starting businesses, nothing about buying the block, nothing about what it means to be an asset to your community, nothing about creating jobs. All we're going to do is we're going to bless you by the same way we civilized the savages in Africa, so-called savages, right? They brought them Bibles and shit, right? So we're going to help you people. We're going to integrate you by basically preparing you to go work for white people so you can be part of our system and we can give you inclusion and equality. Now, of course, it's all on our watch and it's all at our discretion, right? It's all when we decide we want to move forward. That's why you have a whole industry of black people who dedicate their entire lives to going around explaining racism to white people. They're basically saying, Master, let me in because I've got nowhere to go. So I need you, Master, to realize how you hurt my feelings when you don't treat me the same way you treat everybody else, right? That's what you have. So the wealth problem will not be solved by the black professional because the black professional is an individual who unfortunately has been trained to grow old working for white people, who's also been trained, of course, maybe to even move away from black communities and things like that. Not judging that at all, but that's what a lot of us were trained to do. I say us because I'm part of that generation too. And then 3, many of them are going to die in debt because 30 years later, you still paying on them student loans. You graduated from college in motherfucking 1995 and you still in student loan debt. What the fuck is that? One fundamental rule of wealth is that net worth is supposed to be fucking positive. You're supposed to have more assets than you have liabilities. So how the hell did you, this educated black person, I'm not making fun of you. I swear to God, I'm not making fun of you because some of y'all are like, some of you are in that position now. I'm not judging you. I just need you to critically analyze how you were thrown the rope-a-dope, how they did a Lucy on you and a Charlie Brown. They got you to kick the football and you missed it, right? But it can be corrected, but you gotta fix it. Think about this. You spent the last 30 years as a professional. You felt good about yourself because the white man put you in some fancy clothes and gave you a nice label, like middle manager of green objects at Ford Motor Company or whatever, right? And so you feel good. You brag to your mama because you got that first job. Now you're stuck in a situation where you're stressed out from all the microaggressions because white people treat you like shit on the job. You have one stream of income if you're lucky. If you still have a job, and you're still sitting on the student loan debts, trying to figure out how am I going to pay $300,000 worth of debt if I'm making $45,000 a year. Well, let me just tell you, that's a hard damn equation. I'm a mathematician, but I'm not a mathematician. I'm a mathematician, but not a mathematician. So only a mathematician can solve that equation for you, right? So instead, what we have to do is build a better black man. We have to build a better black woman. Building a better black man, black woman means that you don't go around, you don't have to tell your kids, like, don't go to college. Dr. Boyce said, don't go to college. See, stupid people misinterpret my messages. I think they do it deliberately because they like black people who complain. They don't like black people who give solutions. They'd rather me bitching and being mad than to tell you what to do. Or to not only tell you what to do, scratch that, to give you something you may want to consider that will actually help you solve the problem. So you do it, maybe if you want, I'll tell you what we do with our kids. All of our kids are going to college. Let's just be clear. All my kids in this house are going to go to college, and if they don't, then they will probably be strangled in their sleep by their mother. Why? Well, because their mother and the bonus dad, which is what I am. I'm the bonus dad. I'm not the dad, but I'm the bonus dad. I spend the time with the kids. We just believe in education, and we think college is awesome. So when they get to 18, they're all going to tell us what school they want to go to, and we're going to help them do that. But also, when we're taking our 17-year-old around to visit colleges, he's getting a whole lot of Boyce Watkins in his ear. Like, don't you depend on those white folks. Don't you just, yeah, sure, you can get a great job in this field, but if you supplement it with this minor in business, you can also start a business. So that way, instead of being a regular engineer, you can become an Elon Musk, right? Or maybe a baby version where you're only making $10 million a year instead of $10 billion a year or whatever, right? But you're still doing good, Or, oh, you want to go into theater? Well, let me show you some models of people like Tyler Perry and Ava DuVernay and others who built media empires that allowed them to decide what movie was going to be made, who is going to be the writer on the movie, who the producers are going to be, and make themselves the star of the movie, right? That's what we talk about. So I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm saying that old model is dead. That model is not moving the needle. That model, and the thing about it is that if you put your kids in a smart financial position, they're going to be in good economic shape no matter who the president is. This idea that some people have that we're only going to be okay if the right white man is in the White House, that is about as white supremacist of a concept as I can possibly think of, because what you're doing is you're putting white men in the position of being your God. And I don't blame you, because they've been training you to believe that they are your God for the last 500 years. That's why you believe that. So you really get caught up in the whole Biden versus Trump slugfest, because you're like, God damn, I hope that my God defeats your God. My God is better than your God, right? Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The other elephant in the room, education. We know what these schools are doing to our kids. Baltimore tested a third of the kids in their system, tens of thousands of children, and literally 0 kids passed the damn basic math test. 0 kids. You got thousands of tries, and not one of these kids could pass a math test. That's a mass problem. That is not a symbolism issue. That is a mass problem. There's something about that system that is fucking up those children. Because I bet you, give me a yes or no in the chat if you hear what I'm saying on this. I bet you that if you said, how many of you can do, there's a popular dance on TikTok, the Cardi B WAP dance. How many of you want to bet that if I tested the kids and said, how many of y'all know how to do the Cardi B WAP dance, that an overwhelming majority would have raised their hand? How many of you, give me a yes or no. So why is it that if I ask how many of y'all know how to do the Cardi B WAP dance, now I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Right? But thousands of those kids will know how to do it. How is it that you know how to do the Cardi B WAP dance, but you can't do math? I just, it's just not something that is consistent with what I consider to be good values. There's something wrong there. Maybe I sound anti-black, or I'm being mean, or maybe I'm slut-shaming. I don't give a shit. Some shit needs to be shamed. But how is it that millions of your kids can dribble basketballs, throw footballs, and twerk, but you got to search far and wide to find a Negro that can write a goddamn sentence half the damn in some of these schools? That's insane to me. That is a mass extermination event. That is a systematic problem, and I need you to understand the difference between that which is mass, that which is systematic, versus that which is a one-off, that which is idiosyncratic. All idiosyncratic means is that it was a one-off. Okay, it happened at one time. We're going to talk about it all day on the news. Lady got ran over by a milk truck while she was walking her baby to school. That's a tragic story, but that's a one-off. Milk trucks are not mass exterminating mothers on their way to school, right? So with education, we have to take over that system. This is where I'm getting at with this. I am absolutely fundamentally convinced that we black people must educate black children. That black people being educated by white supremacists in a white supremacist system has not worked for you. And so when a white supremacist politician comes along and says, no, we're sorry that the current white supremacist system isn't working for you, that's if they listen to you, if they acknowledge you, and then they say, we're sorry the current white supremacist system is not working for you, we'll design a better white supremacist system that will give you better results. And then, because the results right now are so terrible, if we get even incremental improvement, like if your 14-year-old child goes from a first grade reading level to a third grade reading level, we will consider that to be progress. That's how they train you to operate at the bottom of the damn barrel. And that's how they train you to enjoy the crumbs. That's how, like on the plantation, that's how they got you to enjoy eating pig's feet and chitlins, because you really thought that was good cuisine. So let me keep going. By the way, I should mention, don't forget, Ice Cube will be on later on today. Dr. Claude Anderson and I are doing a Powernomics Masterclass in the Black Business School. If you're interested in joining, you can go to powernomicsmasterclass.com. That's powernomicsmasterclass.com. There are other areas, and I'm not going to go into everything in extreme detail, but a couple of mass effect areas which are far more impactful than these one-offs that we get caught up in, right? Because we get caught up in these media stories, is urban violence. I'm not, I'm not here to debate with Black Lives Matter. I'm not here to debate whether or not Ahmaud Arbery or Breonna Taylor. I'm not here to debate none of that. Those are individual cases and individual people and individual situations. What I am here to say is that there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of black people that are either dying from or being terrorized by urban violence all the time, every single year. That if you go to Chicago and you see how many children, if you do a survey and you ask and you test all the kids at a random public school in Chicago, if you test all those kids and say, how many of y'all passed the basic math test, you might get a couple of them that'll raise their hand. But if you ask them, how many of y'all have a friend who was murdered before his 18th birthday, 80% of the hands will go up, right? 80% of the hands will go up. That is what is called a mass effect. That means that this is a mass event that has mass implications, which requires mass effort. If you ask them, how many of you have an immediate relative? Now, mind you, pay attention now. I'm talking about the difference between how the media is really talking about coronavirus, like that's the number one threat in your life, right? If you go to them and you say to those kids, how many of you have an immediate relative, a mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, or even grandma who died from corona? A couple of them might raise their hand for sure. Corona's real. The virus is real. I'm not saying that it's not. It's very real. But then if you say, how many of you have a grandma or a relative who died from complications from heart disease, diabetes, or obesity, maybe from some of the unhealthy food that we serve en masse in the hood? Everybody gonna raise their hand. Oh my grandma, she get her insulin. Yeah, my uncle got his foot cut off. Yeah, my granddaddy just died from a heart attack. Right? So if you're really into this whole Black Lives Matter concept as a concept, not the organization, I care nothing about the organization, then why don't you really think carefully on your own independently without media telling you what to do? Think about really what Black Lives Matter really means to you and figure that out and stick with that shit. Stop letting them tell you that Black lives don't matter when we talk about urban violence, or Black lives don't matter when we talk about black people dying from obesity, heart disease, and diabetes from the unhealthy Popeye's chicken that they serving on every damn corner, along with the liquor. The chicken will be across the street from the damn liquor store, and then you wonder why the hell you dying so early. Seriously, like Black Lives Matter, black people dying from coronavirus, terrible thing. Absolutely. Being terrorized by corona, terrible. Absolutely. But my God, do you know how many communities there are out here where black people are being terrorized on a daily basis by the fact that their child, they can't even let their son go out at night without wondering if he's going to be shot up that night? And usually if he's shot up, in many cases it's not by a cop, it's by another dude. Right? I'm not saying that this doesn't happen. I'm not saying police shootings are not relevant. I'm saying that white people because you're white supremacists, you let white people decide that we're going to focus on the police shootings and ignore everything else. The police shootings are real. Police are racist. There are quite a few racist cops out there. Not all police are racist, but there are racist police, right? It's a racist system. We know this, but I don't know any black people who've been murdered by the cops. I just don't. But I know black people who've been murdered by some motherfucker in the club. I know a lot of guys who got shot up by they new girlfriend's baby daddy. I know a lot of dudes who got shot because they stepped on somebody's foot and got and disrespected somebody. I know people who've been shot up in gang violence, right? So I think that what you have to do is, and this is a tough task for a lot of people. That's why I'm really not a mass. I don't really want to be, what's the word, mainstream. You know, I'm going to tell you the truth. I got a blessing this week. And this is a true story. I got a call last week, right after my surgery. In case you want, that's why I'm talking a little bit different. I'm in the middle of a long-term dental recovery. I got a call from the Red Table Talk, right? The Red Table Talk called, and I guess they wanted me to come in and talk about, you know, some of the stuff going on with reparations, and I've talked a lot about Ice Cube's contract with Black America and all that, right? So Red Table Talk calls me, and I immediately got real uncomfortable. I got real shifty in my seat. I said, God damn it. And I told Alicia, I said, you know, thank God I'm recovering from surgery, because this makes it a real easy decision, right? I'm not in a position really to go on that show because I'd be slobbering all over Jada and she'd be like pissed off or whatever. But I said, I don't think that mainstream black people are really ready for somebody like me. I'm just gonna piss them off and hurt their feelings. They're gonna be mad at me, and then I'm gonna get a bunch of dumbass emails from a bunch of stupid people that I'm gonna have to ignore, and they're gonna think that they're gonna try to spin, and because people are into this whole propaganda thing, they're gonna flip what I said into something that it's not, like they did with the Lizzo thing. Like with the Lizzo thing, it was really fascinating. White mainstream media, hundreds of white mainstream media outlets wrote about me, and not one of them actually had the respect for a black scholar to call me and say, what exactly did you mean by that? Can you elaborate? They didn't do that because they don't have that respect for black people. The disrespect is, we're going to write about this Negro, and we're not even going to let him talk because we don't believe black people should be speaking. You need to be spoken to. You speak if you are spoken to, nigga. If you get the chance to talk, it will be because I not only allowed you to talk, but I told you what the fuck to say. And I don't operate like that. I'm too smart for that. I'm smarter than you. So no, how about this? I talk first, and then you listen, because you're the one who has engaged in 400 years of mistreatment of black people. You're the ones who need to make all kinds of amends for your ridiculous behavior. You're the ones who have destroyed this country with insurmountable amounts of debt, a mass incarceration problem that is absolutely ridiculous, and you're having damn presidential debates where your greatest leaders are getting on there looking like a couple of crazy ass hood rats who are arguing over a baby daddy. Like seriously, like Biden and Trump were an embarrassment to the United States by how they behave. So how about you shut the fuck up and listen? Because when you listen to black people, your country gets better. And I'm not better than nobody, but I would honestly say that maybe amongst black people, I definitely think I could be one of the smart ones. I don't know for sure, but I believe I could be one of the smart ones. And I observe you and I understand you better than you understand yourself. So no, this stuff is not going to work in this space. I don't care what you have to say. I don't want to be on your news outlets because I can see right through your propaganda. It's absolute nonsense. It's just crazy to me. So last week, when they called me with the Red Table Talk, I was like, it would be great to be able to speak a version of truth, a rational version of truth. I know how to talk to white people. I taught white people for 20 years at Syracuse University, Indiana University, the Ohio State University. I don't know how many white people have done the same thing, but I bet you the number's pretty small. I know how to say shit that might shock you, but if you ask me to explain why I came to that conclusion, I can do that pretty well. I'm pretty logical. I'm smart enough to break it down for you in bite-sized chunks so that if you open your goddamn mind and stop committing yourself to the mental limitations that you've created through your racism, maybe you might think, okay, this guy might actually have a point. Because do you understand that there are things that people are talking about now that you can go back, and I wrote about that shit 20 years ago. I wrote about it 15, 20 years ago. Go read my book from 2004 called What If George Bush Were a Black Man? I wrote a whole book breaking down everything that they were saying after your boy George Floyd got killed. Like, oh gosh. Things really aren't right for the black male. Things really are hard for black men out here. We just figured it out, by golly. Well, I've been a black man my whole life now, and I wrote a whole damn book about it, but you were so busy being mad that I was saying something other than what you wanted me to say that you didn't even take the time to listen. So at the end of the day, I'm really happy I didn't go end up on the Red Table Talk. I love Will Smith's family, by the way. I know Will Smith's brother Harry pretty well. We've had two or three hour long conversations, and I love talking to him. The family's so smart, and I have so much respect for that. But I did want to go on that show because I had anxiety over the fact that I said, oh God, here we fucking go again, where people are not going to understand what the fuck I'm saying, and they're going to completely misinterpret it, and there's going to be another dumbass shit show. So honestly, at the end of the day, I only want to talk to people who either get it or people who are open to possibly getting it. Like, for example, I'll give you another example. Today on Instagram, I got hit up by another guy who's more mainstream than I named Malcolm Jamal Warner. Malcolm, I guess he follows me on Instagram. I didn't know that till today. And he sent me a little note basically questioning my views about the voting thing, right? And I took no offense to it. I was really, like, okay, this is cool. Because first thing he said, look, I don't mean any disrespect. I just want to say that, here's another point of view that you might want to consider. I love that. I love that. I love it when you disagree, as long as we can disagree without you trying to call me some raggedy ass nigga. Like no, I don't want, that's not a good answer. Oh, you be hating. No, I'm sorry, that's not a good answer either. Or no, you a Trump supporter. Well, no, that tells me that this conversation is probably above your pay grade. So at the end of the day, I just hope that maybe we can one day get to a point. But Martin Luther King had a dream. I have a lot of dreams. One of my dreams is that one day black people can debate, smart black people can debate intense political issues without it devolving into a stupid little Joe Biden, Donald Trump shit show. Seriously, I just don't like that. They can do that. That's what they're doing right now. I don't think you have to do the same thing. I think that you can still love your cousin and say, you know what, my Uncle Willie, he voting for Trump. That nigga crazy. But you know what, I love my Uncle Willie. How about we do that? How about we do that? And then what happens is afterward, you and Uncle Willie become a better team because he's coming from the right, you're coming from the left. You've got both sides covered. Uncle Willie's old school ideas might sound a little crazy because Uncle Willie remembers what life was like before integration. But maybe you can't see Uncle Willie's point of view because you were fucking born in 2001, right? Maybe there's a reason why Uncle Willie needs to hear from you. You need to hear from him. And as long as you can agree on one fundamental idea, that improving your family and improving your community is important, then you and Uncle Willie can get along no matter who you vote for. No matter who you vote for. So can't we at least agree that we can disagree and still love each other? I hope that we can focus, because right now we need love in the air. We need to really focus hard. I know some Negroes are hard to love. I swear to God, somebody mentioned the other day somebody that I have a real issue with. And so it's hard to grab love sometimes, but in a toxic environment. But we really need love in the air. The same way California fires need water. We need love in the air. And maybe sometimes I can't love as well as I want to, but I want love because I believe you can build better off of love and some type of unity than you can build by saying that I'm going to do better by destroying you. Right? So I don't want to destroy anybody. If I gave you that impression, that is not my intention. Sometimes, honestly, it took me a while to even realize that even my energy and my education level can be intimidating for people. I don't want to intimidate you. And if I do that, then just let me know. Just do it politely and we can be friends, okay? All right, so do we love each other? Everybody type love in the chat if you agree. Type love in the chat. And also, I'm going to get out of here. I got a meeting. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button also before you go. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. And also later on today, Ice Cube will be on. We're going to talk about contract with Black America as well as reparations. And if you want to join the masterclass with Dr. Claude Anderson, it starts on October 15th. You can go to powernomicsmasterclass.com. That's powernomicsmasterclass.com. So it's the first time in the Black Business School we were able to put together something like that. So I think you guys are going to love it. So I look forward to that. So take care, guys. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here.